Hi guys, it's Jay from Red Death Reviews. Horror and gaming, well, let me put my good pants on as I shit myself with excitement and fear and take a look back at the PS2 classic that is Silent Hill 2. From the creative team of Hiroyuki Iwaku, Tsutoshi Sato, Masashi Tsubiyama and Akira Yamaoka, please excuse my terrible Japanese, and published by Konami when they weren't shit and complete fucktards. Hashtag fuck Konami. Silent Hill 2 was released in 2001 to commercial and critical acclaim worldwide, and it set a new standard for psychological horror in gaming. The game is 14 years old now, so please be warned, there will be spoilers ahead in this review. So if you're still listening, we will begin. Silent Hill 2 starts with James Sunderland travelling to Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his dead wife. Yeah, kind of a red flag there, James. However, undeterred from the fact that she's dead, James ventures to their special place hoping to reconnect with his wife and follow her wishes in the letter he has received. Pretty straightforward? Yeah? Good, because that's about as straightforward as this game gets. But Silent Hill doesn't invite just anybody without a hidden agenda. It's a purgatory of sorts, a self-made hell, and it reflects and manifests the person's own demons, resulting in a downward psychological spiral of terror, death and, self-reflection. Well, it does in the first 3 games. After that, Silent Hill went completely off the deep end and ruined this concept as it reintroduced some of these classic characters into other horror games. And that just isn't how it works. Take note, Western developers. Twin Perfect did a fantastic in-depth into this, and they explain more. But basically, the horror is reflected from the person themselves. It shouldn't be in somebody else's Silent Hill. Anyway, back to the story. So James visits Silent Hill, where he eventually becomes his downfall, as he pieces together his fractured view of events and struggles to deal with his guilt, his resentment, and his loathing. His angst, his pain, and despair, all surrounding his wife's death. Now, this isn't me overanalyzing this game, or looking for symbolism and meaning where there is none. Silent Hill 2 is crafted in such an amazing way that the game is layered as if it was a digital storybook. It draws you in with a strong and impactful story and deals with very real emotions that we feel, while being very abstract and, non-fictional with its use of demons and ghosts, monsters, and the characters James comes across in his journey are on their own personal Silent Hill at times. They intertwine with James as he descends into madness. There's a bullied and a brute of a man in Eddie, an abused woman in Angela, and an innocent lost little girl, and the main antagonist, which is Maria, who in my opinion is one of the most interesting characters in the game. She also bears a striking resemblance to James's ex-wife, yet she's overtly sexual, almost predatory-like, and teases James throughout Silent Hill.
You're alive! Maria, I thought that thing killed you. Are you hurt bad?
Not at all, silly.
Maria? That thing, it stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator, and then...
James, what are you talking about?
Just before. Don't you remember?
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So, you're Maria?
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
Come and get me. I can't do anything through these bars.
Okay. Stay right there. I'll be there soon.
The characters are all amazing, and while the voice acting is pretty bad by today's standards, it doesn't harm the game. In fact, it helps it at times. The voice acting can be really unsettling. The remaster that came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 wasn't as bad as many people will sort of lead you to believe. However, it is not a patch on the original, so please don't waste your time on the remaster. The monster design is also A star, and its manifestations in Silent Hill are works of absolute genius. Twisted genius, but genius all the same. The sexy broken and bound nurses are reflections of James' inner hatred and lust. Their bound, twisted faces representing James's hatred towards the nurses that couldn't save his wife. Yet they're covered up so James can't look upon them and fantasise about them while he represses his sexual urges as his wife lay dying. Pyramid Head, which is the most popular of all the characters, is a representation of James's dark side. He's angry, lust-filled, vengeful, monstrous, has a huge phallic sword, a complete monster who punishes James throughout the game and also kills Maria multiple times so James can feel that loss of his wife over and over again. He also rapes two mannequins that are legs on top of legs, which kind of further reinforces James's sexual frustrations. And there's many other famous monsters in Silent Hill 2, but for me, the most terrifying is Abstract Daddy. It's a representation of Angela's abusive relationship with her father and brother. A giant bed that's covered in suffocating skin that has somebody trapped below its surface unable to get out. Just like the sexual abuse that Angela sustained, this representation is truly horrifying and just adds to the game's dark and twisted theme.
Are you okay? Angela, relax.
Don't order me around!
I'm not trying to order you.
So what do you want then? Oh, I see. You're trying to be nice to me, right? I know what you're up to. It's always the same. You're only after one thing.
No, that's not true at all.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead and say it. Or you could just force me. Beat me up like you always did. You only care about yourself anyway. You disgusting pig.
Angela.
Don't touch me! make me sick. You said your wife Mary was dead, right?
Yes. She was ill.
Liar! I know about you. You didn't want her around anymore. You probably found someone else.
That's ridiculous. I never.
This game is amazing. Everything has a purpose and everything works so well. It's methodically thought out and also designed to invoke a feeling and reaction, whether it's repulsion, horror, anger or hatred. The game design is nearly faultless as it draws you into the game rather than you just playing the game. It can be subtle at times, but it's purposeful, and unlike the other horror games at the time, like your Resident Evils and your Fatal Frames, this affects you on a psychological level, and not just visually, which is also great game design. The sound is also mesmerising, with the score being so beautiful and poignant. Again, it blends into this wonderful macabre story while filling the world with so much space and emptiness, yet paradoxically helping the world feel fleshed out, swollen with pain and suffering. It's beautiful and one of the best representations of musical scores and sound design in gaming. Sometimes it goes from industrial, then it will go to light and airy, to empty and then suspenseful, but everything hits the mark and is crafted so well. Honestly, please check out this soundtrack, it's awesome, and I'm pretty sure it's available on iTunes. Anyway, back to the story, and the final act. We find out that it was James that murdered his wife, and it was Silent Hill that called him there to pay for his deeds. The monsters representing James and James's guilt, and how he must atone for his wrongdoing. Now this twist really hits you hard as a player, as you've saved this supposedly mild-mannered, kind and loving husband and helped him through his journey, only to realise that he is the murderer and this is all his own doing. There's no salvation for James in all of this, and as a player it feels like a punch to the gut. Obviously dependent on the ending that you get, as there's a really weird dog ending. So if you haven't seen it, please check it out on YouTube. I realise this is a pretty long and in-depth review into not only the game but also the themes and symbolism. And like I said, Twin Perfect have really gone in depth with this and done some amazing videos, so please check those guys out. I'll end this by saying this is a sort of love letter to Silent Hill and its series. Silent Hill was more than a game, it was a real franchise that was crafted by an amazing team in Team Silent over at Konami. It's sad to see that these kind of games haven't been emulated since, and especially to this level. While PT may never see the light of day, and Konami not willing to reboot Silent Hill unless it's a goddamn pachinko machine, I'd like to think that maybe one day we could all visit Silent Hill again, if only for a brief visit. Guys, this is my love letter to Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 gets a rating R review of 10 out of 10. I'm Jay from Red Death Reviews, and remember to lock your doors and sleep tight.